We've been talking about this morning, happening right now in St. John Parish. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a deadly house fire that left a mother and her two young children dead and a community in disbelief. It happened in Mount Airy on a street where just about really everyone is family. That's where we find our Mike McDaniel this evening with details of what happened. Mike, it's a tragic case here. What's going on?
Hey there, Charisse. Well, 911 got a call about this fire at about 3:15 this morning. Investigators were here most of the day. They wrapped up about an hour ago. It's easy to focus on the damage you see right there behind me of that home. But I want you to look in the foreground on that brick wall. You'll see a bouquet of flowers sitting there. About 20 minutes ago, a young girl and two adults walked up. They stood in the street, they looked at the damage, then walked up and placed those flowers there. We were going to talk to them, but we wanted them to be able to honor these victims uninterrupted. It was just something really special to see. The fire chief here in St. John Parish describes this scene as intense. And sadly, we learned a mother and her two young children were unable to escape the flames.
It's a little hard to take in everything that's going on.
A stranger on his way to work woke Trevor Edwards up early Wednesday morning in St. John Parish.
He was knocking on the door, ringing the doorbells frantically to alert us that the house was on fire, and that's when I came outside.
Intense flames had already taken over the guest house next to the main home on Marigold Street in Mount Airy. Edwards says her sister-in-law, niece, and nephew were inside.
We came through under the carport area to try to get them to wake up or answer us or something, but everything was just dropping at that point because it had already taken over the house.
The fire was so intense when firefighters got there about 5 minutes later, they couldn't get inside either.
They saw the flames when they turned on the street, so it was going before we got here.
Once the fire was out, firefighters found a mother and her two young children dead inside the living space above the garage. Edwards says 38-year-old Quintella Chopin was a hard-working, loving mother.
She works almost every day of the week. She's dedicated. She, like I said, she loved her kids. She loved my brother. They've been together for over 20 years.
Edwards says 7-year-old Germani Edwards, who had a birthday last week, was an honor student at Garyville Mount Airy Magnet School. And 2-year-old Therrell Edwards Jr. was a ball of energy.
Full of life, a lot of personality, just overall very smart, good kids.
Edwards says this loss impacts everyone on Marigold Street because most everyone is related.
We're all in disbelief, so, I think once that, it really sinks in, it's going to be, even tougher.
In a small community like Mount Airy, the loss is also tragic, certainly for first responders who are hoping to save lives.
Well, my guys, they're dealing with it the best they can. You go in there and you find stuff like that. You can't imagine how it is to come across a little kid in there.
Adding to the grief, Edwards says the family has also recently lost a handful of other people. The family is asking for prayers.
I may not be crying right now, but trust me, I got 1,000 things running in my head, and when the curtains close, when I go back behind the doors, that's going to be my time to process what's going on and grieve.
While investigators are still trying to figure out what may have caused this fire in the first place, they say there's no reason to believe it was anything suspicious. Live in Mount Airy, Mike McDaniel, Eyewitness News.
A tragic story here, Mike. Thank you so much for that.